He said, now, you guys have studied this and you know what you're going to run into. And he said, I'm going to give you now the opportunity that if you don't want to go, walk up here, stand here with me. There'll be nothing said to you. There'll be nothing come of it. We'll just put you somewhere else until we make the invasion. So there was not a man got up and went, because we was all hyped up to go.
Very early morning of June 6, 1944, Mr. Pickett and the rest of Company A loaded onto small boats and headed toward the beaches of Normandy, France. He said they had a big steak dinner the night before, and the waters were rough that morning. A lot of men were getting seasick because of the big waves and rough waters.
You wouldn't call it really fear at that point, you know, but it was realization, you see. You know, it was my job carrying a flamethrower to land. That I knew was a suicide job. Now, that would be on my mind, you know, something like that would bother you a little bit. But I didn't try to get out of doing the job. Somebody had to do it, and might as well have been me as my buddy. I was landing over on the right-hand end. Our beach was about 5,000 or 6,000 yards wide. And we were moved in a company front, 6 boats.
His boat was hit. He was knocked out and landed in the water. He eventually was pulled back into another nearby boat and eventually back to safety. His first objective, if he could have made it on the beach, was to take out a pillbox, a fortified position that had a .50 caliber machine gun.
If I could have burnt that out, there would have been a whole lot of difference in the death anyway. That's bugged me all my life because I couldn't get there. I tried to get up, and my legs wouldn't work. I wasn't hurting anywhere. Scared to death, of course, which might have been what was wrong with me.
He tried to pull himself up, but his arms just dug holes in the sand. Later, a nearby boat pulled him out of the water and to safety.
A company was 96% casualty within the first 30 to 45 minutes. Figuring half of them dead, and the other half of the casualties wounded, which I was one of the casualties.
Only a few men of Company A made it across Omaha Beach.
But the way they was covering it, they couldn't nobody get across. Actually, just about got all of them. It was to my benefit not to make it, but how many lost on account of it? That's what I look at and wonder about. But of course, that's not my business anyway. That's the Lord's, I reckon. He got control of them things too.
75 years after D-Day, a local hero was honored on an international stage. Good evening, I'm Josh Rowe. This is Russell Pickett from Saudi Daisy being honored by President Trump and the President of France.
Russell Pickett is the last known survivor of the legendary Company A. And today, believe it or not, he has returned once more to these shores to be with his comrades. Private Pickett, you honor us all with your presence.
Mr. Pickett didn't know that was coming or what happened next. President of France, Emmanuel Macron, helped Mr. Pickett stand to be honored. Then President Trump and Emmanuel Macron shook his hand and gave him a big hug.
Well, it makes you feel a little bit good, yet when you stop I thought, well, all the other guys over there is, that changes your tune altogether. And to go back onto the beach that was so many killed on, you know, good friends. And they try to call me a hero, and I believe they're the heroes. They might have lost, but they're the heroes.